Well, hey, how's it going? This is Carmel, and this is your daily download. www.beingandbecoming.life is where you'll find out more about me and where I'm coming from. Apologies for the last couple of days that I did not do a daily download. I had family in town and I was celebrating my birthday, 49. I'm excited to beginning the last leap around the sun for my 40s. I've always looked forward to my 50s. I know great things are going to happen in the decade of my 50s. Great things have happened in every decade, but the decade of my 50s I'm most excited about. But what's interesting about that is that timing has been coming up for me a lot at the moment, and the idea that timing is past, present, and future all simultaneously occurring right now is becoming really prevalent to me at this time. The teacher inside of time is one that I've bowed down to a lot. I love the teacher of time. But I'm learning that the teacher of time is somewhat different to the time that we were taught in school and the time that we orient our life around, the time of the clock, the time of the day, the time of the year, the time of the month, the time of the week, whatever calendar we prescribe to. It's not the time of nature. And we watch how the seasons shift each year. It's just a little bit different. There is a pattern to the year. There's a wave, there's a cycle, there's a frequency, there's an oscillation to time. But there's a rhythm to it, but it shifts. It isn't precise like what the hands of a clock are. It isn't precise in the way that the sun's going to arrive on the day at 3 a.m. or 6 a.m. and it's going to set at 5 p.m. every single day. You know, it shifts, doesn't it? That's why we have these calendars that shift things. But when we think about timing in the form of waves on the ocean or music, the notes of music and the timing, the tempo can go faster or slower. There can be more or less space depending on the count that the notes are written to. When you think about martial arts and how you're moving in conjunction with the timing of the other person and the energetic frequency that you're riffing with together. Timing is different depending on how your own heart beats. I have a very low blood pressure and an irregular heartbeat. Doesn't really mean there's anything wrong with my heart. Apparently I have a heart rate that is like that of an athlete, but it's concerning because it has irregular moments to it. I'm like, well, that sounds a bit like me. I'm pretty irregular, you know. I show up, there's a certain rhythm, there's a certain vibration to how I am, and there's some irregularities within that. And then I tap into those irregularities and a new something is born or emerges. And it's okay, but just because it doesn't fit into the prescription of what someone wearing a white coat might say I should be beating like, doesn't mean there's anything wrong with how this heart is beating. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the sun because it rose half an hour later than it did the morning before, or that it gets later and later as the season goes on, or earlier and earlier as the season goes on, depending which season you're in, right? What is becoming most potently profound about time to me is that when we can stop and just drop into whatever is beating in this now moment, whatever is here and present, time literally can stop. And when we go from moment to moment without the massive highs and lows, the jerking arounds, the situations where in this environment I'm judged severely for being me, in this environment I'm loved and accepted extraordinarily for being me, and in the next environment I'm treated like a criminal for being me, and then I'm judged again, and around it goes. It's those sorts of high and lows that tax and stress the internal system, which lead to aging and inflammation and anxiety, oxidation, decay, you know. That's where aging comes in, is in the highs and lows of being stretched and torn through the waves of acceptance and rejection, of praise and denigration, of being put on some fucking pedestal and then knocked off it. It's like, if we can just step into the tempo of our own rhythm and be anchored inside there, and this is a practice, I certainly haven't got it nailed, but when we can step into this inner working of self that says, here I'm true, here I'm me, here I'm real, because I'm connected to my own source connection, which is where my inner healing ability taps in and turns itself on, and it knows exactly what I need to help the physical body, to clear the emotional body, to balance the mental field, to allow the spiritual pranic body, the breathing body, the ethereal bodies to come in and infuse my health on a physical level, to line me up and connect me with who I am and why I'm here and what I'm about in this moment, you know. And when we really step into that rhythm of ourself, then we can connect to that part that knows and sees that the inner structure of nature is very precise, and it's so beautiful. There is so much beauty that is built into creation, and that beauty that is built into creation has a precision to it that has its own timing. It unfurls as we move through it, and we start to recognize that we create the opportunities in our lives by going through the motions of our own unfurling as they're unfurling, one step at a time, one moment at a time, one breath at a time, one exhale, one beat of the heart at a time, lines us up for what's seeking to emerge next. And when we're present in those moments without fluctuating highs and lows and ups and downs, and like I say, I haven't nailed this. This is a ongoing evolutionary practice. But as we can just step into that part of ourself that is connected to the source of our own connection to Creator, that's where we start to weave our life out of our body. The same way a spider weaves its web out of its body and then lives in it as the creator and the created, right? That's how we just know that we're in alignment, because we're just doing it. Think of the spider as it's weaving its web, one strand at a time. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one. And then all of a sudden there's this intricate pattern that shows the spider the pathways it can take to achieve whatever it wants to achieve. And we do that with our own life, doing our own weaving of our life as we literally make love to life, and we birth life in every step of our lovemaking with it. And then we live in it as that which created our life and that which is created by our life, because we're experiencing the opportunities of every moment as we give birth to them and going, that's it, I can nail this moment and this time and this, this now moment of time. At least that's what I've been working with in the previous session I just had with my client in Switzerland, and it was just really beautiful to drop into that time and feel it and be it, in it together, in the container we've created. If you'd like to find out more about anything that's possible in our work together, have a look at www.beingandbecoming.life. We can drop in through conscious conversation, hypnotic techniques to make deep and profound subconscious changes in your way that your mind and your life work together to birth you in each now moment. And we can springboard from conscious conversation we can springboard from tarot readings to get there, if you'd like a really fun entry point with me. Mwah.